Imagine losing everything you've ever worked for, your money, your home, your dreams, all gone in a single moment. Most people would break. But one man didn't. 2,000 years ago, a wealthy merchant named Zeno lost his entire fortune when his ship sank. Yet, instead of despairing, he said something extraordinary. Now that I've been shipwrecked, I can finally begin to live with purpose. There. That moment didn't destroy him, it transformed him. It gave birth to one of the most powerful philosophies ever known, Stoicism, the art of becoming mentally unbreakable. Stoicism teaches a truth that feels almost alien today, that you cannot control what happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. When Zeno stood on that foreign shore with nothing left, he didn't curse the ocean. He embraced the lesson. He learned that true strength isn't found in possessions, comfort, or praise, but in the quiet mastery of one's own mind. This realization gave birth to the Stoic way of life, to remain calm when others panic, to stay humble when life rewards you, and to endure hardship without complaint. Centuries later, this philosophy would shape warriors, kings, and visionaries. Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, ruled the world's most powerful empire, yet began each morning by reminding himself, "You could die today." So let this day be your masterpiece. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that freedom has nothing to do with chains, but with inner peace. Seneca, the statesman, warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Stoicism wasn't about suppressing emotions. It was about understanding them, mastering them, transforming pain into perspective. Today, we live in a world full of noise. Endless scrolling, comparison, and anxiety disguised as ambition. We chase likes instead of meaning, and possessions instead of peace. Stoicism reminds us that happiness is not something you chase, it is something you create by letting go. When things go wrong, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask instead, "What can I learn?" The Stoics had a practice called premeditation, the premeditation of misfortune. Before sleeping, they would imagine the worst that could happen, losing money, status, or even loved ones, not to become pessimistic, but to build emotional armor. If the worst comes, they are ready. If it doesn't, they live in gratitude. That is true emotional control. Expect everything, fear nothing. Another powerful Stoic practice is voluntary discomfort. Take a cold shower. Sleep on the floor. Tease simply for a week. Why? Because if you can be content with little, no loss can shake you. You stop depending on luxury for happiness and start depending on yourself. Seneca once wrote, "He is the richest who is content with the least, for contentment is nature's wealth." The less you cling to, the more freedom you gain. And this doesn't mean abandoning success, it means not becoming its slave. Sure, you can pursue greatness, but with detachment. You can love deeply, but without fear of loss. You can work hard, but not tie your worth to the outcome. That's the Stoic dichotomy of control, what's in your hands versus what's not. You can control your thoughts, your effort, and your attitude, not the algorithm, not the applause, not the outcome. Even YouTube creators forget this truth. You can write, record, and edit with all your heart. But once you hit upload, the results are out of your hands. Your job ends where control ends. Judge your success not by views, but by effort, by honesty, by mastery. The Stoics lived by 4 virtues: wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. Wisdom, knowing what you can control and what you cannot. Courage, acting rightly even when it's hard. Temperance, choosing balance in a world addicted to excess. Justice, doing good for others, not just yourself. These aren't just moral codes, they're weapons against chaos. Even Nelson Mandela drew from Stoic principles during his 27 years in prison. Instead of hatred, he chose forgiveness. Instead of revenge, he chose rebuilding. That's not weakness, that's unbreakable strength. In modern psychology, Stoicism quietly lives on. Cognitive behavioral therapy and logotherapy both mirror Stoic wisdom that changing how you think changes how you live. Even in suffering, purpose can be found. Even in failure, peace can exist. Because the Stoic doesn't ask life to be easy, they ask for the strength to face it as it is. When the storm comes, be the calm, when you lose everything, smile, because you're now free to rebuild. When the world pushes you down, rise again, not with anger, but with understanding. That is Stoicism. That is becoming undefeatable. If this message resonated with you, remember, the Stoics didn't just believe these words, they lived them. So, start small. Control your response. Build your peace. Then next our life tests, you smile like Zeno on the shore. Because the storm was never meant to destroy you, only to awaken you. Subscribe for more philosophy, Stoic wisdom, and deep reflections that rewire your mind for strength and peace. Let's grow together.